Welcome to the 2025 Twin Cities Film Fest, sponsored by Stearns Bank. I'm your host, Lori Roovers, on the red carpet at the Edina Mann Theater. Today, joining us, we have filmmakers from the film Where in the Hell? And yes, I did enjoy saying that. Will you please introduce yourselves and tell us what your role was on the film?
I'm Laramie Dennis. I wrote, directed, and produced.
And Ricky de Laveaga, I edited and produced.
Could you give us an overview of Where in the Hell?
It's a road movie. I've been calling it an art house buddy comedy because it's comedy, but it's also got space and locations and room to breathe, I would say. It's a character study. Would you agree?
I would totally agree. Where did you film it, and during what time period?
We shot it entirely in California during the pandemic, and so we shot it in 4 blocks, separated by a couple weeks to a month. And it was a sort of long production schedule in one way, but the breaks in between really helped everyone sort of make the schedule work. And we had a lovely crew, amazing cast, and just got really lucky.
It was filmed mostly outside. Did you have any problem finding locations?
Actually, we deliberately, I wanted to write something that was COVID safe. We shot in 21 and 22, where we could use natural light and work with a tiny cast and crew. So that was one of the really fun parts, was the location scouting and finding all the places. And like Ricky said, we shot it over the course of 5 months, so we were able to really take our time to find those places, sort of forgotten, strange roadside places in California, yeah.
And a little bit more in depth, what caused you to want to write this film? What brought you to the point of writing this film?
I was interested in exploring what the pandemic was doing to human relationships, and I was interested in empty roads and trash and birds, and I think I had this kind of, I was exploring something desolate, but what came out of it was a buddy comedy. So what came out was this celebration of unexpected friendship. I don't know if I knew that's what I was heading into, but maybe it's what I needed.
The connection during COVID definitely was brought out and celebrated. What made you want to write about an actor and a prop master?
Well, another anxiety I was exploring was kind of the tenuous nature of the film industry. And so there's this light backdrop of COVID. It isn't really a COVID movie, but then there's another layer of Angelinos a little freaked out about the film industry. Do we still have a career? But I've worked so hard for my career. Now I'm trying to remember what your question was. Oh, yes. Well, I kind of love the meta-ness. I love actors. I love making fun of them, and I love working with them. And Cam and Juhan really let me borrow from their lives. So there are details in the movie that I kind of stole from them. Cam had worked as a PA. Juhan, spoiler, had an MD, headed to be a doctor when he quit and became an actor. And so I got to borrow these details that sort of brought the characters to life, I think.
That's an actual truth. An actual man was a doctor, an MD, and he gave it all up to be an actor.
To take his shirt off on camera several times.
Which was, pleasant. And could you tell me a little bit about the shots showing their relationship?
Yeah, so Marilyn Flores, the DP in Laramie, worked very closely. Laramie was rehearsing with the actors before we shot, but then also when Marilyn came to the mixture, she's another sort of consummate professional who's done so many different jobs on set, including acting, and so she really worked with Laramie and the actors to sort of create this sort of confined space, especially when they're in the car together and stuff, but then combine it with these sort of expansive open views when, there's a more introspective moment. And so we see Casey, in the 2-foot, Mono Lake, sort of having a reflective moment and stuff, and that's reflected in the landscape. And so that, and also I would say the color palette is very important. There's kind of like a blue-orange thing happening throughout the movie that Laramie and Marilyn worked very hard on, and that we tried to bring out in the edit. And then we had a really great colorist, Mezgin Geber-Meskel, who just really brought all those colors just singing to the forefront. And we had a really great sound mix for me and Chase, and that always matters a lot in the edit, more than people realize. So yeah, it was a great team that came together and really brought this sort of small indie movie to life.
Well, I felt like I was there. I was almost hot watching it. I would like to ask you about the what I would call dad jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I feel like they were sprinkled throughout the film. Was there a deeper meaning behind those?
The dad jokes I stole from my sister-in-law. Those are her 3 favorites. I think I'm playing with our lead, Casey, is not good at emotional intimacy.
Okay.
And so anytime it gets a little awkward or maybe personal, she would reach for a joke to kind of break the ice. But you'll see there's a little bit of a progression. Like, there's one where she's distancing Juhan, Alan, the character, and one where she's making fun of him. And then at the end, our sort of last one is sweet, right? It's her way of saying thank you to him, like through a dumb joke.
And I have to say, I don't want to give anything away, but what is the significance of dogs in your film? Because they showed up throughout the film also.
You're right. I guess sometimes maybe there are symbols in there that I didn't intellectualize, but Casey's looking for her dog. She's looking for her girlfriend, but also her dog, and towards the end she's realizing maybe the dog is the one who's important.
So true.
Yeah, and so we planned a few. I had friends who brought dogs. Our DP is in it briefly with her dog, but then we saw them along the way, and so we tried to grab them when we could. It was sort of reverberations for her of seeing, oh, that one's not my dog, but what a sweet dog, and that one's not my dog, and I want my dog. Are you a dog person?
I'm totally a dog person. Love the dogs.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, can you tell that I love this film? It's called Where in the Hell, and I love saying that even better. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for joining the 2025 Twin Cities Film Fest, sponsored by Stearns Bank. We'll see you back here on the red carpet soon.